during the plague. And then, because of a note here, I realised that actually this is supposed to be the publication of a long missing manuscript.
Hello friends, this is simply me putting together all the intros and the outros from the plague videos that I've been making. That's literally all this is going to be. I hope you're all doing tremendously. However, if you're watching this, you might not be.
Just outside Liverpool Street Station, to put in the Crossrail link. The old site of...
Hello friends, Simon Kane here in my show pyjamas. What I'm about to embark is maybe too grandiose a term, but we're all shut in, aren't we? This is Daniel Defoe's Journal of the Plague Year, and I'm going to read it because I'm reading it and I have it, and it's very interesting, and it's a good read. It's actually a work of fiction, really, because Daniel Defoe was 5 years old during is it called the Visitation, whatever he calls it, in 1665, but he's writing as a not 5-year-old saddler in London at the time. So it's very well researched. He's a journalist, Defoe. The Great Visitation, that's it. And there's a great introduction in this book as well by Anthony Burgess about what an influence Defoe was on H.G. Wells. I've never read any Defoe before, but it's a really good read, which is why I thought I'd read it all aloud so you can enjoy it as well, as much as you can with me on my phone, which only takes about 10 minutes of video, which is why this is all cut together, like that cut I just did. This will be the first 10 or so pages, page 23, which is where it begins, to 35, and it will chart. It opens with quite a dry list of deaths by number, so it all looks like that, and then it picks up as the narrator starts talking about his decisions whether or not to leave London. Yeah, enjoy. And that's where I'll stop. There are no chapters in this, so you just keep reading on and on. That was about 12 pages. Took about half an hour. But yes, we're going to stop with the narrator being taken ill. And there'll be more tomorrow. I might not wear pyjamas. I hope you are very well. If you're not, I hope you recover soon. Thank you very much for listening. All the best. Bye-bye. Hello friends. We continue then into part 2 of A Journal of the Plague Year by Daniel Defoe. Part 2 as decided by me, because, as I said, there are no chapters. There are a couple of footnotes in this as we head into esoterica. Esoterica? Esoterica. I don't know. So I'll read those now, and you just have to watch out for the words as I stumble over them later. The first is the footnote to Akeldama. And the footnote says, normally Akeldama with a C rather than a K, very important, literally the field of blood, the potter's field bought with the money Judas obtained for the betrayal of Christ and used for the burial of strangers. So try to bear that in mind. And then later on, we get to talking about Friar Bacon's brazen head, things hung outside shops. Roger Bacon, the medieval philosopher, was reputed to have created such a head capable of prophesying. So you've got that to look forward to. And then Mother Shipton has a footnote. Traditionally a witch with prophetic powers living in Yorkshire in the 15th century. She is supposed to have prophesied the Great Fire of London, which would be the following year, 1666. So let's get back into it. We left it with the narrator dithering about whether to stay in London or leave, as his brother suggests. And then just as he checks the Bible and resolves to stay, he becomes ill. Men servants. And page 48, that's where I'll stop. Yes, so same time again tomorrow. I hope everyone is doing very well. All right, lots of love. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Woo, it's the weekend. I can hear children playing outside my door. Maybe scooters will go past. We continue with part 3 of this. This will be a shorter part, pages 48 to 56, because after that it gets into a huge list of the laws that the Lord Mayor passed to deal with the plague. So I'll do that all in one bunch tomorrow. In the meantime, Defoe's narrator goes on much as he did before, moaning about the stupid poor, although I think stupid means senseless, rather than complete thickos. He mentions the court as well. If you don't know, the court, the royal court, not the theatre, this is the court of Charles II with the big wig and the spaniel and the high-heeled shoes, who was king after a brief flirtation with not having a king. Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector, a Puritan. He defeated Charles II's father, Charles I, in the Civil War. Charles I was publicly executed, and then Oliver Cromwell closed all the pubs and all the theatres. And according to my friend Gemma Brockis, who did a lot of research for a great show, which I might post a link to below, Cromwell tried to replace holidays with days of national humiliation. And then he died, and Charles II was put on the throne, which is why they talk about the gay, luxurious court, who have all fled off into Oxford. And all the entertainments that were suddenly allowed in London, including some I had to look up. Merry Andrews just means clown. And there's a Jack something or other. Let me look at the Merry Andrews and the rope dancers. I think that's pretty much what it sounds like. Jack puddings. Jack pudding, I think, just means a clown. Apart from that, it's pretty grim what follows. Although we do have the word abracadabra in a pyramid. But yes, one thing that suddenly occurred to me looking back over the video, he talks about tokens. These tokens mean the marks of the plague, basically buboes. They are not to be confused with bills, which are ads. Okay. Yes, and that's where I'll stop before we launch into exactly what laws were passed, which I might put a suit on for, or something, get dressed for that, kind of remain indoors style. I might post a link to the next video. That will go up when it's up tomorrow. Alright, I hope you're all doing superbly, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Hello friends, happy Sunday. If you're watching this on Sunday, anyway, this is when I'm recording it being this, part 4, where we go into some detail, well, in fact, as much detail as was published, about the laws that were published to try and prevent the plague, for which I will wear a jacket. And in that jacket, I found this. I haven't worn that jacket in a while. I've been missing that pen for a while. Great. So a happy Sunday for me. Also, I washed my hair. So yeah, all very neat. There are some footnotes in this section coming up, but I will read those as we come to them. Interesting footnotes as well. And let's go. And with the end of those laws, that is where I will stop for today. I did actually continue reading for another 10 minutes, but looking back, editing all this, I think that's quite enough for one day. Chirurgeons, I looked that up. I think it just means surgeons. The word was used, maybe because the book was written in 1722, and of course the law was posted in 1665, different words were used, but I think a chirurgeon is just a surgeon. Yes, so pubs were closed after 9 o'clock in the evening, and watchmen were posted at the fronts of houses. Did that stop people getting out of the back of the houses? Well, we'll find out tomorrow. And then beyond that, I've no idea, because I'm sort of reading this only 10 pages ahead of these recordings. I've no idea what happens in the rest of the book. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I thank you also to everyone who's commented. I will post yesterday's reading down there, and when it's up, tomorrow's up there, if you want to keep following. I hope everyone is doing terrifically. All right, all the very best. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy New Week. We continue then with the narrator's account of what it was like to be shut up inside your house, although it is not something he suffered, but he gets about a bit. So, I'll stop there. So forget those guys. He's not going to talk about them tomorrow, I don't think. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your comments. I hope you're all doing splendidly. I'll see you tomorrow. Yesterday's video down there. Tomorrow's when it goes up there. All right. All the best. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. And so on we go. A visit to a plague pit and an encounter with some atheists. Not that you asked, but as an atheist myself, I think they really let the side down. And that's where we'll stop. Tomorrow, I'm only reading about 10 pages ahead. There's shopping and baking your own bread. So you've got that to look forward to. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for everyone who's commented or liked or subscribed or anything like that. Yeah, you know, thank you. I hope you're all doing superbly. Yesterday's video will go there, and tomorrow's when it's up will go there. All the best. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. Beauty face this is on. Is this? Oliver Cromwell would not approve of that. So on we go with some reckonings, not just the reckonings of horrible deaths, some of which are described, but also the reckonings of the narrator himself, what he reckons about the efficacy of shutting people in, and also what he reckons might be the cause of the plague. It's certainly not insects. He knows that much. And then, as I said yesterday, there's also stuff about going to the shops and baking your own bread and also making your own beer. And, smudgy. That's where we'll stop. As I say, there's no chapters here, so it's all pretty random. We're on page 98 now. That's how far through we are. Thank you for watching. Thank you also to everyone who's commented and liked and shared and all of that stuff. Yesterday's video will go there. Tomorrow's when it's up will go up there. Remember those 3 guys that I mentioned a couple of days ago, the 2 sailors and the carpenter? They haven't come back again. Maybe they won't come back tomorrow. But I'll be here tomorrow. I hope everyone is doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. So on we go from page 98 to 108 of Daniel Defoe's A Journal of the Plague Year. There's some real horrors in store, maybe so horrible that they might require a trigger warning. I don't really know how trigger warnings work. There is a brief mention made of hanging. There's also a very lengthy and detailed account of the theft of women's hats. I'm afraid at this point society seems to be breaking down a little bit, and it does seem to be women who are mainly responsible for that. I'm sorry about that. And in fact, the narrator says more of them should be hanged. But there's also a funny anecdote to round off with. So enjoy. All the very best. Bye-bye. No, hang on, I haven't started reading yet. Oh, what a lovely story to end on. So, yes, there we go. What a roller coaster of emotions that was. Yesterday's video I will put there, and indeed have done by the time you've watched this. Tomorrow's will go up there. Thank you very much for attending. Thank you also for everyone who's commented and shared and liked and all that. It's very, very nice. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy Friday. Now, I had a knock at my door today and got this, my first food parcel. This is from Sue next door. Well, from her granddaughter, who's been taking these around. Popcorn. And Sue's been given too much food, so I've suddenly got free food. Oat milk, which is in the fridge. Juicy jelly, I don't know what that is. Do I dilute it first? That's probably quite important to know. Do I make jelly with it? Bread. So yes, thanks, Sue. That was lovely. Less lovely is the next 10 or 11 pages of this. Lots of people have been made unemployed and poor, but there is work for the poor, but it's not nice work. Shoots of grass are appearing all over the city, though. And that is where we'll stop. Makes you proud, doesn't it? On page 119. So, I'll put yesterday's video there. Tomorrow's when it goes up there. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you for liking and sharing and all that. Thank you again to Sue. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy Saturday. So we continue then with the narrator breaking out of his house at the height of the plague, just, out of curiosity, and having a rather you be the judge, a potentially moving encounter with a man on London beach. There is also mention of what life was like for those living on boats at the time. And there's also, at the beginning, talk of a chap called Solomon Eagle, who I hadn't heard of, but I've looked him up and I put some links to what he was getting up to, totally in the description to this video. If anyone is using these as a cure for their insomnia, then that's exactly what these videos are for, and I don't want you to think for a second that I'm at all insulted at the idea that I'm sending you to sleep reading this book out. That's, it can be put to better use. So that said, let's continue. And there we will stop it. I'm speaking quietly, so if you have fallen asleep to this, I don't want to wake you up. Anyway, yesterday's video will go there. Tomorrow's when it's up, will go there. We still haven't re-encountered the two brothers and the kinsman mentioned in episode 5. We might meet them tomorrow. I've read ahead a bit. It's pretty grim reading tomorrow, I warn you. But I hope you are all doing tremendously. Thank you for liking. Thank you to everyone who has left a comment. And thank you for watching. That's you. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Hello friends, happy Sunday. We continue from page 128 then to 136. Not a very big passage, but I'm keeping this one quite concise. And the reason is, well, I'll give you some background. So, reading about the plague. I've done a lot of jobs where absolutely horrific stuff is presented as family entertainment, and I've done that happily. I've worked at the London Dungeon, I've done the Ghost Bus tours around London, and I've done Jack the Ripper walks around Aldgate, where the largest plague pit was dug, the plague pit that the narrator visits. I say all that because there is absolutely no way I can present what follows as in any way darkly entertaining. There's no way to horrible histories this, because he talks. What is given is an account and details of what life was like for women giving birth during the plague. And it's just straight up sad. So by no means feel you have to watch this. At the end, there is an account of a particular person's grief that is so extreme it might veer into the comic. Let's see if I can avoid doing that, or thereabouts. Before we go any further then, I will stop for the day. Yesterday's will go there, tomorrow's will go there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everyone who subscribed and all of that. I hope you're all doing tremendously. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hello friends, happy Monday. The sun is a little lower today. I've started later. I was up quite late last night. I decided at 4 in the morning to start learning how to code. So that's what I've been up to. We continue reading from a page 136 to 144 as we embark finally upon the long-promised adventures of the 3 travellers mentioned back in episode 5. Before we get to that, we talk about what happened to the animals. I mean, thinking, guess what was done to the pets? What surprised me, though, was the huge number of cats in London. Well, you'll hear. Just extraordinary. So, yes, that's sad. And then we finally hit the road. John and Thomas are 2 of the guys' names, and there's a joiner who offers all sorts of help in the tent. And there we will stop. Yesterday's, I will post there, but it's very sad. Tomorrow the adventures will continue up there, the adventures of John, Thomas and the joiner. Literally the joiner, because he joined them. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed and commented. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Hello friends, happy Tuesday. We continue then with the adventures of John, the soldier turned biscuit maker's apprentice, turned back into soldier again as he hits the road, his brother Thomas, the sail maker, and the carpenter that's joined them. From pages 145 to 155. When we encounter bits of dialogue written like this, I'm not going to do what I did yesterday and try to cut it together. It overheated the computer, and it also, looking back, just seemed even more confusing. I don't know why that is, maybe because the eye lines were wrong, or 2 people had exactly the same background and voice, and that made it even more confusing. I'm not even going to try something with hats. I'm just going to read it aloud, as I have been doing beforehand. So sorry about that, if you enjoyed that weirdness yesterday. I'm also going to start... I'm looking at my notes here. I'm also going to start pronouncing the word victuals as victuals, because I think that might be how it's pronounced, and it's easier to say anyway. So, as we left off yesterday, John, Thomas and the carpenter had set up camp for the very first night, posing as people from Essex, although they're actually travellers from London, and the joiner couldn't get to sleep, so he stood guard, and now a large group of people are approaching the tent at night. And there I will stop for today. Richard the joiner has hugely gone up in my estimation. Yesterday's video is there. Tomorrow's I will put up there. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go and wash my hair. Thank you to everyone who subscribed and liked. I hope you're all doing tremendously. And maybe learning a skill. Maybe learning how to make a table. Bye-bye. I'm not. Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. So we continue with Defoe's Journal of the Plague Year from page 155 to... where 164 or 5? I haven't quite decided where I'm going to stop. But to the end of the story of John, Thomas and Dick the Joiner, I didn't make those names up, and their adventures having left London, escaping the plague. They were joined by 27 other people, and by posing as an army, thanks to the handiwork of Richard the Joiner, who made fake guns for them, they managed to get some provisions out of Walthamstow and are now, again thanks to Richard, very comfortably encamped in a forest in Epping, so I'm guessing Epping Forest, and that's where we will rejoin them. Before we do, though, a little bit of news. There's a tip jar now. There's a link below. Yes, I've started a tip jar. It says, why not buy me a coffee? That's not necessarily what I'm going to spend it on, but yes, if you don't think I'm reading these fast enough, why not buy me even more coffee? Thank you very much. On we go. I think we'll stop there. Page 164. That's pretty much the end of the story. We've still got this to go. Yesterday's episode, which has more of their adventures, is there. Tomorrow's when it goes up will be there. And the tip jar is linked below in the blurb. Thank you everyone who's already given tips. That's amazing. That's really nice. Thank you everyone who's commented. Thank you for watching. I hope you're all doing tremendously. All the best. Bye-bye. Hello friends. Happy Thursday. I received something in the post today from my dad, I believe. What did I get? This. He said he was sending something, but he didn't say what it was. What it is it's a magnifier to, I guess, assist my reading of these books. The only problem with it is, and this is the only problem, the string is basically almost as long as my arms. So for this video, I'm going to put that to one side. Thank you very much, Dad. And continue basically reading like this. Thank you also to everyone who's left a tip in the jar for coffee, which I might spend it on or not. Thank you very much indeed for that. We continue then from page 164 to 176. We have done with the adventures of Captain John and Thomas and Richard, and we're now back to the narrator basically kvetching about people being shut up and how useless that is. There is also some bills of death you'll be happy to hear, and the word scorbutic, for which there wasn't a footnote, but I looked it up, and it means relating to scurvy. Enjoy. And there I will stop for today on page 176. See you all tomorrow, or however you're watching us. Thank you to everyone who's commented and liked. Thanks to everyone who's left tips. The tip jar is below. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Oh, and yesterday's video's there. Tomorrow's will go up there. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy Friday. On we go with the Plague Year from page 170. This is excellent content, Simon. 176 to 189. We hear about the narrator becoming an examiner, which basically means going up to people's houses and going, hello, do you have the plague? Do they have the plague? I know, what a terrible system, for 3 weeks. And then, towards the end of this passage, everyone finally gives up hope of surviving, which turns out to be a lot jollier than you might expect, according to this account anyway. So, let's proceed. Without further ado. This counts as a do, guys. Cut the ado. And there I'll stop for today, on page 189. Yesterday's video is there. Tomorrow's is up there. If you want to leave a tip, there's a little link below there. Thank you to everyone who's commented. Thank you to those who have tipped. And thank you for watching. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Court of Aldermen. 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 Hello, friends. Happy Saturday. Court of Aldermen. Continuing. Defoe's Journal of the Plague Year from page 189 to 197. We're in the home stretch. I think we'll be finished by Friday, and I have an idea of what I'm going to follow it up with. It's a big idea. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know what it is. I might chicken out of it, though, so I'm not committing to it here yet. What we have over the next 8 or so pages are the narrator getting a bit bored of reeling off horror stories and going back to the bills of death. If anyone was worried we weren't going to have any more of those, no, there's one today. And then he says, well, at least there was bread. And he doesn't have a bad thing to say about the Lord Mayor, who I looked up. His name is John Lawrence. They change the Lord Mayor of London every year. I know the following Lord Mayor, Thomas Bloodworth, was mayor during the time of the Great Fire of London, and I know him from the tours because I know that on the first night of the Great Fire of London he said, a woman could piss it out. Well, I don't know what woman he had in mind, but she didn't. That said, the total bills of death for the Great Fire were, I believe, just 6 in total. And the moral of that is it's clearly easier to tell who was caught a Great Fire of London than it is to tell who was caught the plague. And there we'll stop for today, page 197. Oh, look at this. It's falling to pieces, and who can blame it? Yesterday's episode is there. Tomorrow's, when it goes up, will be there. If you want to leave a tip, there's a jar below. Thank you very much, so much to everyone who has. It's completely voluntary. That's how tips work. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy Sunday. We continue with Defoe's Journal of the Plague Year from 197 to page 207. Also, though, Sue from next door has brought another rescue package. So this is also an unboxing video. This, by the way, is a prop from a film of The Tempest I made when I was hashtag me at 20. We have more popcorn. We've got some soft white. We've got these again. I found out what they were. They're jelly. Let's call that. Fantastic. Thank you, Sue. Back to this book. We left off with the Lord Mayor making sure that when people from the countryside came to the market town in the East End, all the corpses were safely covered up, so they didn't scare anyone off. Yes, he will tell you about them tomorrow. We've got that to look forward to. Thank you very much for everyone who has left tips. That's really nice. Thank you for everyone who supported in any way, leaving comments, liking, subscribing. Thank you for watching. Let's give this a go. So weird. Yesterday's video is there. Tomorrow's, when it goes up, is there. I could do with being colder. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy New Week. Continuing to read from page 207 to 214. Not a long passage, this. It ends, though, on one of my favourite passages we've encountered thus far in the book, which is various experiments to try and test people to see if they have the plague when it doesn't look like they have. The very first testing, there are some great tests, some involving chickens. He talks of microscopes and germs looking like dragons, snakes and serpents. The narrator, the fictional narrator, says he doesn't believe any of this. Now, I don't know if he means he doesn't believe germs look like dragons or if he just doesn't believe germs exist. But bearing in mind how little was known about disease and even science back when this was written, and certainly when this was set, I find it all quite interesting. Speaking of microscopes, I spoke to Dad yesterday, and this is not for reading a book. This is for a jigsaw puzzle that that I haven't yet received. So on we go. And there we will stop for today. On page 214. Yesterday's video is there. Tomorrow, when it goes up, will be there. Thank you for everyone who's watched. Thank you to everyone for watching this far. Thank you to all who have just subscribed and liked. Thank you everyone who supported in the tip jar. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? So, am I stupid? I think I know the answer to this. Am I stupid for not realising that quarantine means 40 days and 40 nights, because quarant is French for 40. That's where it comes from. So Noah was in quarantine. As we get onto the trading passage, I'm not entirely sure I understand everything he's writing about. The first time in this book, like this far in, I've hit a passage where I'm just sort of saying the words and hoping for the best. I think what he's saying is that goods were not unloaded at some places, but other places would take them, but the captains of the ships had no right or permission to take those goods on, so they had to send back for permission to take the goods on. I think that's what's going on, but as the narrator says, I do not affirm it. Very Fine. Well, that's where I'll stop for today on page 227. Yesterday's video is there. Tomorrow's when it's up will go there. Also, Dad's jigsaw puzzle arrived today. Praha! I hope you're all doing tremendously. Thank you for watching. Tip jars at the bottom as well. Thank you for everything. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. Continuing to read Defoe's Plague of the Plague from page 227 to page 237. Having spoken of the pool continually, the pool, and not knowing what that is, we finally get an author's note here as to what the pool is when talking about the Thames. It's an area of the Thames above Bridge, which I guess means to the east of London Bridge. It says from the Tower to Cuckold's Point. I don't know what Cuckold's Point is. I've never heard of it, even though I'm a Londoner. This is London. So I looked it up, and it's an area on the south of the river, just across from basically Cineworld West India Quays, or the Museum of London Docklands, if you know that, or the Wetherspoons, which has the big toilets that look like the future Titanic. So now you know that. On we go. And there I'll stop for today. Yesterday's video will be there. Tomorrow's is there, or will be there. Well, you know, I'm talking to the camera and then I do things. You know how it works. It's the 21st century. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for leaving stuff in the tip jar. It's really nice to be able to do this for people. We're very near the end. We're into the broken part of the book. I hope, though, you are all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Hello, friends. Happy Thursday. Happy St. George's Day as well. Thanks, St. George, for killing that dragon. That's a weight off. Thanks also to Shakespeare for being born and dying on the same day. Speaking of Shakespeare, here's what I think I might do once I finish this, which I'll finish tomorrow. The complete works of Shakespeare. I think I'm going to... I think if I'm going to continue this at all, I'm going to just go into the complete works of Shakespeare, which is less related to the plague, but also might be quite fun, and also more popular. So yeah, listen, no one can stop me, we're all in lockdown. We continue then with the penultimate chapter of this, in which I was a little confused, because this is a fictional narrator, and I was trying to work out, as it was published in 1722, if this was a 100-year-old man basically recalling his adulthood during the plague. And then, because of a note here, I realised that actually this is supposed to be the publication of a long missing manuscript, because there is a note that says the author of this journal, the fictional author, was in fact buried in one of the plague pits he mentions. So that solves that. The plague pit, in fact, I think is one that is, or was indeed, currently being dug up just outside Liverpool Street Station to put in the Crossrail link, the old site of Bethlehem, or as it was also known, Bedlam. So, yeah, there's lots of stuff about plague pits here. You've got that to look forward to. Enjoy. And that's where I'll stop for today. Tomorrow will be the last reading. That goes up there. Yesterday's is there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everyone who's liked and subscribed and left something in the tip jar. I hope you're all doing tremendously. Bye-bye. Let me give you some advice. Only joking, I'm not Neil Gaiman, I'm me, Simon Kane. Finishing Daniel Defoe's Journal of the Plague Year today, which people come back and purify their houses by blowing them up. Apparently, that was certainly one of the methods. The plague dies down. The narrator gives thanks to God, and who can blame him? He says, let the philosophers search for reasons in nature to account for it by. Well, yesterday, someone left a great comment on the video to explain what was going on. I'll read it. Evolutionary theory tells us that a pathogen that kills all its victims will eventually run out of victims, leading to its own extinction. A bug that doesn't kill its host is far more successful evolutionarily. Just look at the common cold, which we can't seem to get rid of. So the plague bacteria needed to evolve into something less virulent, and that seems to be what happened. That's a modern take on it. What else? Well, no, it's the end. There's that. That's it. Enjoy. See you on. Well, see you. I mean, see you now. Hang on. What am I doing? And that is where we will stop, because that is the end. And I have been sat like this, oh my goodness, for 3.5 weeks. So what did we learn there? Well, if you're a prophet, don't get too specific. And we never learnt what HF stands for. It could be, I don't know, Harry Felabonte? I don't know, I'm just guessing. Anyway, thank you for watching all of that, or for watching however much you did. Thank you to everyone who's commented. Thank you to everyone who's liked. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. There's a tip jar below. Thank you to all of those who have bought me coffees. Not all these books are mine, by the way. Oh, thank you to David and Danielle, my landlords, for the use of their wonderful flat for making this. And that's it. I'm going to take a bit of a break and then come back with, well, I've said Shakespeare. So, yeah, I'll do some Shakespeare. I hope you're all doing tremendously. See you soon. Bye-bye.